I'm sorry, kiddo, I really am. You have a good soul. And I hate giving good people bad news.
He's Tony, I'm Mike, and we're here to do a quick and dirty review on 1984 Charles Bronson, The Evil That Men Do.
The most savage murderer cannot be caught or stopped. There is only one man to turn to. When evil becomes above the law, the only law left belongs to Bronson. Of revenge, there is just one name. Bronson, fighting all the evil that men do.
I was going to say, this has Charles Bronson in it. Obviously, he's the big star on it, but you'll recognize a lot of the other names. There's the doctor, who was just in everything in the 80s. He was on TV, he was in a bunch of movies. But the guy that hires Charles Bronson, because I can't remember his name of his character from the movie.
Holland?
Yes.
My name is Hector Lamalin.
But you'll recognize him as the Emperor, the Shadakar Emperor, Shaddam IV from Dune and David Lynch's Dune. So yeah, going old school there, baby.
I thought you were talking about the doctor. I was like, the doctor wasn't the guy.
No. But I was gonna say he showed up on like Magna PI. I think he might have even showed up on an episode of Mr. Belvedere. I mean, he was that kind of actor. It was like, oh, there's a paycheck. Well, what time?
Yeah,
so I'm okay with that. The story on this is straightforward as it gets. Basically, the doctor is an evil, villainous man who he basically has made a career out of showing dictators and wannabe dictators how to torture people into compliance and get the information that they need to overthrow the rebellion.
Physical and psychological pain is applied in unbearable yet controlled doses to destroy the subject's will and spirit as the body clings to life.
Very Darth Vader-esque. And the Emperor Shaddam IV shows up at Charles Bronson's island and is all like, hey man, I got this dude and I need you to come out of retirement and go shoot him because Charles Bronson was an assassin. And he's like,
Hector, like I told George, I'm retired, look.
And he's like, I brought tapes.
I never was able to... The doctor, every one of them. Clement Bullock, the man they called the doctor.
And Charles Bronson is so entertained, he found the tapes hilarious. It was very America's Funniest Home Video, so he decides he's going to take the job because that's the kind of guy he is. And then assassination shenanigans ensue.
Yes, that is 100% accurate and shockingly fast. That is a record for you, sir. Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo. This movie's dumb. Really, it's more boring than it is dumb. There's not a lot of shenanigans. You get that real shocking scene at the beginning where you see them torture George, who's a reporter.
Jorge, actually.
Mr. Hidalgo, or I should say George, since I feel we almost know each other.
But I was going to say, the intro is the best part of this movie. So.
Okay, go. But yeah, I mean, they got the clamps to the nuts, and I think it got probe up his asshole, and they're just juicing him up.
Yes. Yeah.
At least that's what you see is what it looks like.
The fascinating part about this is, like, legitimately, he's doing this as a demonstration to a bunch of other dictators. And, you know, there's some Asian ones and some African ones and some South American ones. And he's, like, doing this was before PowerPoint, so he had to have a model there to show off what he was doing. And he is demonstrating the techniques as he's going on. He's talking about the proper way to break them down and all this. And it's grotesquely fascinating.
Yes.
But then it devolves into just Charles Bronson, like, trying to be clever and oh look, he's such a great assassin. He took Jorge's wife with him to do the job,
which makes zero sense. And even the storytelling it's really dumb. She serves no purpose there except for to be annoying and to be the damsel in distress at the very end. Actually, not her daughter.
Yeah.
Who he tries to get rid of like 50 times during the course of this assassination.
He actually mentions that he's sending her home twice.
At least.
I think you want to consider going home today.
Why not stop?
I think it's time for you to get Sarah and go home. Max, there's no way that Sarah can stay here. Send her home as soon as possible.
And then she just pops back up. It's like whack-a-mole.
But the doctor's henchmen are dumb because Bronson easily dispatches of all of them. Super easy.
Yes.
He dupes the one guy into thinking he's going to get into a threesome.
Yes.
You know, me and Nance, we've been into a lot of things. And we've learned tricks you wouldn't believe. You married?
No, I'm divorced. But remember, 3's company and 4 is definitely a crowd. How about a drink to get this party started?
The other guy, he hangs from a fire hose.
Yes.
And he just catches him outside the hallway too. It's like easy.
No,
there's like nothing to it. Then they kidnap the sister, all right? And here's the funny thing about this case. They kidnap the sister, they're holding her for ransom, and then they get found out where they're holding her.
He knows we're here.
How could you tell?
He didn't ask.
And so they're coming after her, so they throw the sister in the trunk, and on the chase scene, she dies in the trunk. Why even bother kidnapping her if you're just gonna kill her in the fucking plot? You know, why would you write that in there? You're just going like
well, the bad guys didn't know she was in the trunk of the car, and they were busy shooting at Charles Bronson, and a bullet went through the trunk and hit Mrs.
But it's
Torture Lady.
It's a stupid plot point. Am I wrong?
Actually, no, you're not wrong. In the hands of a better script, in a better screenwriter, they could have actually used that because he's got the daughter and they've got the sister, and so they're going to deliver her, but they decide that they're gonna.
But they do deliver in that because they fake it like she's still alive because he has her voice recorded.
A fair exchange. The child for my sister. Well, where is she? Where is she?
She said...
Clara! Clara!
At the time that he did it, made zero sense. There was no reason for him to do that whatsoever. It was almost like he had read ahead in the script, and he's like, wait, you know what would be clever?
Clement! Please help me.
There's a funny thing I gotta point out here. When they go to the dive bar, and they're tracking down one of the doctor's head henchmen, or whatever his name is. I don't remember. He'll throw it here because I ain't editing this shit.
Randolph Whitley, a former intelligence officer. He's the doctor's communications expert.
There's the very tall, very heavy-jawed Mexican man who sits down at their table and decides he's going to start groping Jorge's wife, who's supposed to be Charles Bronson's wife in this, while they're undercover. That's Vidinho from Puma Man.
Yes, I knew it. I was like, that's got to be Puma Man. We need to review Puma Man.
I saw him, and that's all I could think about throughout that entire section. So even while Charles Bronson is smashing his nuts with his bare hand, I just have help Vidinho, help Vidinho, because of the MST3K episode. So he's an onion. But this movie wanted to be something. It was really trying. And it's got the makings of a film that should be kind of like Missing in Action, you know, with the original Missing in Action, Charles Bronson is this vet who gets hired. He's supposed to go and see if the Viet Cong have kept any American prisoners of war. It's very much a morality play. It's very much a political play.
Who stars in that movie?
It's got all that going on. That was Chuck Norris.
Thank you.
But this was trying to do that. It just lacked a script that could be bothered with any of this. It seems so cheap, so shoddy, so shot on a nothing budget.
Oh, yeah.
And this isn't even a Cannon's film, is it?
I don't know. You don't do research like that in a quick and dirty.
I was going to say, if you could take this idea, you could most definitely make a smart, engaging, entertaining, story from this. Just this ain't it.
No, it's not it. The other thing that doesn't really help is the editing and then the pacing of this movie is super slow. There are so many spots that just like everything between the killing just drags and is boring. It's so boring. The acting isn't good in this either.
No, I was gonna say Charles Bronson is phoning it in hardcore, and then his leading lady, she's not much of an act. She's cute, but she's most definitely is she's acting with a capital A.
Yeah,
she's really trying to amp it up, and it just doesn't work.
She's theater acting at best.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then to boot, you're right. She keeps showing up. He keeps trying to send her home. No, I have to see this through. Jorge was my husband.
I need to know he's finished.
Emotional vendettas are just another form of suicide.
And when they finally get to like the end, she's like all squeamish.
Yeah.
I
don't know if I could do this anymore. Well, you don't have any choice now, lady.
I don't know if I can go on much longer.
You said you wanted to see for yourself. You wanted to be there when he was finished.
I think maybe I've had enough.
Rihanna, you had a choice before. You don't have a choice now.
And the ending of this film, let's get down to brass tacks. So the daughter gets kidnapped, and they think that they have the sister and they're supposed to do an exchange. And he decides that they're going to do this exchange in like this little sleepy town in the middle of nowhere in the mines outside of town. It just so happens that all the miners that work there are former customers of the doctors, and they've all been tortured by him. So rather than Charles Bronson coming to save the day and earning his paycheck,
He's doing pro
turns
bono
out
anyway.
that the miners show up and they, kill the doctor in the back of his car with mining tools. And
see, I didn't mind that. I actually kind of liked that.
I was going to say, the problem is, it's not that it's a bad story idea. It's not that it even doesn't make sense. It completely does. What's sad is how anticlimactic it is because it's shot in such a lazy, boring way, and then it's edited in such a lazy, boring way. It should be this big cathartic payoff that this really evil son of a bitch is getting his comeuppance, and he's getting his comeuppance at the hands of the people that he tortured.
The problem with it is like you said, it's the way it's shot. They come at it like zombies. They look like zombies attacking instead of like really angry, pissed off people that they should be and are.
That's the other thing too. When they're hitting the body, it looks like they're playing whack-a-mole as opposed to killing somebody that did something really vile and evil to them. So it doesn't sell, none of it.
Yeah.
When the credits started rolling, I was like, okay, that was a movie.
So not a recommend.
Oh shit no, it's a skip altogether. And I gotta ask a question.
Yeah.
Was the version of this that you watched, was it 4:3 ratio or was it full screen? Because the version I watched was actually 4:3, and I'm thinking, okay, so this was shot with television cameras, and it was shot specifically for the video market, which I guess makes sense.
I'll be honest with you, I was so bored. I really don't pay attention. I really don't remember, to be honest with you. I remember the kill scenes. I remember what's her name being annoying, and I remember the villagers at the end. Beyond that, I already forgotten it. So
that's really the best thing that can be said about this. It's easily forgettable Charles Bronson product.
Yeah, which sucks because everything else we reviewed up until this point that has Charles Bronson has been really good.
It's all had merit. Even if I didn't like it, I at least saw what they were going for, what they were doing. And Charles Bronson put some effort into it. This just This, seriously, he was coasting on the fact that his name is Charles Bronson. And this one, they did no development of his character. The only thing that you know about him is that he is a former assassin and that he now lives on an island. That's it. And he serves orange juice with breakfast.
So there's that. Precious squeeze, I guess. All right. Anything else?
No. If there was something interesting to talk about, I would have tried to bring it up. There's nothing here, man.
We'll see you guys the next time.